Okay, this game's in the refrigerator, the door's closed, the lights are out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, the jello's jiggling. This is what legendary announcer Chick Hearn used to say when the Lakers are about to win a game. I say this now because the Lakers are going to win the 2008-2009 NBA championship. They've had success against NBA's. I believe this because they've had success against NBA's elite teams. They have the most talented group of players, and they have more experience in top Western Conference teams and the Cavaliers, and they're healthier this year while major competitors are not. First, I'll get my first claim that they've had success against NBA's elite teams. This year, they swept the season series from the Boston Celtics, which are the defending NBA champions. They swept the series also from the Cleveland Cavaliers, which are the NBA's best team this season record-wise. They were 66-16. And also, the Cavs had the best record at home until the Lakers beat them for the first time this year. The Lakers have also dominated the Western Conference. They had the best record in the Western Conference, 65-17. They were 3-1 versus the Denver Nuggets, which were the second-place team in the conference. And on April 9th, they recently beat the Nuggets, 116-102. They had the top seed in the West by 11 games, meaning they had 11 more wins than the Denver Nuggets and 11 fewer losses. My next point is that they have the most talented group of players. First off, they had Kobe Bryant, arguably the NBA's greatest player since Michael Jordan. He's last year's reigning MVP, and this year he was third in scoring with 26.8 points per game. He's an 11-time NBA All-Star and a 3-time NBA champion. According to ESPN, Kobe contained LeBron James this year just to 19.5 points per game in their two meetings, well below LeBron's average of 28.4. Also, the Lakers have Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum, their starting power forward and center. Pau Gasol this year was a 2008-2009 All-Star, averaging 18.9 points per game and 9.6 rebounds. They also have Andrew Bynum, who's a promising young center, averages 14.3 points a game and 8 rebounds, and he's a defensive presence for the Lakers. Also, they have a very deep bench to contain LeBron James and Paul Pierce, two possible players they could see in the finals. Lamar Odom is considered what experts call a super sub, which is basically a starter who comes off the bench. He's 6'10", and can play any position from point guard all the way to center. This year off the bench, he averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds a game. They also have Luke Walton, who's 6'8", has solid size and strength, has a high basketball IQ, meaning he knows the game very well and knows where players are going to go on the floor, so he'd be smart enough to slow down and frustrate Paul Pierce and LeBron James. And finally, they have Trevor Ariza, an incredibly athletic player. He's a solid shooter, has long length, makes him a good defender, and would also frustrate LeBron James. My next point is that the Lakers have more experience in top Western Conference teams and the Cavaliers. Basically, they have the same team that reached the finals last year. They've seen their faults from last year, and it's given them an inside preview of how to prepare better against these teams. They had Kobe Bryant, who I mentioned earlier, is a 3-time NBA champion and been to the NBA Finals 5 times. They have Phil Jackson, who's tied for the most NBA championships by a coach. He coached the Lakers to their 3 championships earlier this decade and coached the 6-time champion Chicago Bulls. Also, the Denver Nuggets have not won a playoff series in 21 years, who were the second place team in the Western Conference. The Rockets, on the other hand, haven't won a playoff series since 1997. Also, the Cavs, which are the best team in the Eastern Conference, haven't won an NBA Finals game. They went to the NBA Finals in 2007, but were swept by the San Antonio Spurs, so the Lakers have an advantage on them. And finally, my last point is the Lakers are healthier this year, while major competitors are not. Last year, the Lakers made it to the NBA Finals without Andrew Bynum, who's their starting center. He missed the entire playoffs with a knee injury. The Lakers lacked a true center, and it was evident in the Boston series. This year they also have Trevor Ariza, who missed the last half of last season with a broken leg, and he's a major contributor on defense and offense. The San Antonio Spurs, who are supposed to be one of the Lakers' major rivals, are missing Manu Ginobili, who's going to miss the entire playoffs with a bad ankle. He's the third leading scorer on the Spurs and is a major contributor to the team. The Celtics, according to ESPN, are probably not going to have Kevin Garnett this year for the playoffs. He's the team's second leading scorer and is their best defender. He's considered the heart of the team and emotional leader. So in conclusion, I believe the Lakers are going to be the 2008-2009 NBA champions because they've had success against NBA's elite teams, have most talented group of players, also have more experience than top Western Conference teams, and are healthier this year.
All right, Armando, the claim is very clear. It's easy to follow. The secondary claims are laid out. You should use some numerical signposting on them. That's the same kind of issue that I think I have with the body of the speech also. I can pick out the claims when I'm listening carefully, but remember, casual listeners sometimes are not paying as close attention, and so you need to help them along a little bit. You've got a lot of information. Most of it is factual data. You don't tell us where the data comes from. I don't think there's going to be much dispute about it, and of course you don't want to repeat it over and over and over again, but I assume that you got it from some source with NBA statistics on it, maybe the NBA website itself, but we don't get any source citation on that. Again, I don't expect there to be much dispute on some of those statistics, but you ought to at least give us at least one reference for credibility issues. I think you could have used a little bit more expert testimony. I like the ESPN prediction about the absence of Garnett for the Celtics. There's one place where you're talking about some basketball player, I guess it was Walton, having a high basketball IQ, and I'd like to know who came up with that conclusion. Is that your inference, or is that some authoritative inference? Because it seems to be kind of out there. If it's an authority who knows something about basketball, we could judge it a little bit more effectively. Otherwise, maybe it's just his T-shirt, high IQ guy on the Lakers. I thought that you did a good job finding the issues to talk about. You talked about the road to the Western Conference Championship. You talked about the potential rivals that they would be facing from the Eastern Conference. You talked about the weaknesses of those other teams and the strength that the Lakers have. So I thought you did a very good job on that. It starts to sound a little dry because you get so sucked up in all those statistics, and so you need to kind of step out a little bit and let some passion out and let some enthusiasm into your voice. It is sports. You are probably a Laker fan, so there's nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, it just sounds like you're droning on and on and on with the numbers. Like the attention device, for instance, I don't know that you have to do an impression of Chick Hearn, but that's a good quote to get things going, and it's not very dramatic and pulling us into the speech, and I think that you could do more of that. There's a good summary at the end. You're finishing at a good point, and it all sounds fine unless Kobe checks into some hotel in Denver while the playoffs are going, and then all hell breaks loose. All right.